Good morning, Nat.
Hey, good morning, Pete.
Oh, man. Do you realize we're halfway through 2022?
I was just thinking about that. The kids are out of school and it's summertime.
Crazy. It's going so fast. And I think we're about ready to approach the longest day of the year. I think that's June 21st. So, I mean, it's just flying by. And certainly, as we think about one of our most popular podcasts that we did was, hey, what's going to be hot in 2022?
That seems like yesterday.
Yeah, it does, right? And we're seeing that franchising is still red hot right now, and in many different areas that we kind of called out. And so I thought what we would do is replay the podcast that we talked about, the what's hot in franchising in 2022. Sound good?
That sounds like a great idea.
Let's have a good listen.
Roll the tape.
Welcome to the Higher Self Podcast. My name is Pete Gilfill, and I'm here with my business partner, Nat Truitt, and we're all about helping people become entrepreneurs or just become better business people. Good morning, Nat.
Good morning, Pete.
How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. What do we got going today?
Oh, man. Well, first, I gotta start with I'm excited. I'm excited today.
No, you're never excited, Pete.
I'm never excited, right? So the other day, I get a knock on the door. Right? UPS driver. It drops off, I'm not kidding you, this package. This package is huge, right? This is about a 40-pound package. It is a box filled with beef. Yeah, right? I mean, it's this huge package. It's like 35 or 40 pounds of beef, like high end. It was a gift somebody sent me, right? And it was one of the coolest gifts I ever got. Is big steaks, big roast, ground beef. I mean, it just you should see these like tenderloin steaks. They're huge, and they were frozen. It was in dry ice, all that kind of stuff. What a great idea for a gift.
Yeah, I think I might be coming over to your house this weekend.
Yeah, you might as well, because I literally, who has room in their freezer for 35 or 40 pounds of beef?
Yes, well, I think that people that have that mentality usually have that.
I don't, but I would never.
Chest.
Yeah, I don't have a freezer chest, so I'm starting to throw out all the vegetables. Who needs all those cheap vegetables? I got this good beef, this stuff like that. So.
Awesome.
What a great holiday gift. Butler's beef, I think it was, or something like that. Yeah, just absolutely amazing stuff. So good. Well, say, Nat, what I wanted to do today during our call or our podcast is I wanted to talk about what's hot in franchising in 2022. So we're going to talk a little bit about trends and also kind of where we see it going in 2022. Sound good?
Yeah, people have been asking me about that for the last few weeks. So I think that's the perfect timing for this.
Okay. So as we talk about what's hot in franchising in 2022, I think we start with kind of the overall industry, right? So we see a lot of stuff lining up really well for 2022. And the first thing is that we hear this term, the Great Resignation. People are just leaving their jobs because they're burned out. They just want to live life on their terms. And so we see this as people are leaving their corporate jobs, they're just done, and they want to take control of their destiny. They're interested in exploring franchising as a potential path.
They're wanting to hire themselves, would you say?
Hire themselves. Well said, sir. Yeah, right. But I think that's going to be a continued trend in franchising, is you're going to see more and more executives saying, I'm done. I'm done with the business travel. I'm done with all the crazy pressure, all that kind of stuff. I just want to live life on my terms. And franchising is a great path to do that if they find the right franchise.
You think people care if it's like owner operator, or you think they like to be more executive run, or what do you think those kind of trends are?
Yeah, see, I see more executives. They're really looking for, we call that executive model, where they're working on the business, not in the business. They don't want to be doing whatever it is. They want to use those great leadership skills, that business acumen they've gained in all the years in the corporate world, and lead a business, not necessarily doing it. So, it's kind of more that executive model, semi-absentee.
Yeah, try to stay away from the man in the van or the Chuck in the truck, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They're not trying to buy themselves a job. They're looking to build something and scale it and grow it. I think another concept that or another thing we see with hot in franchising in 2022 is that there are just more franchise concepts coming out there. I mean, there's over 4,000 franchise companies there, and they just keep coming. And you see these new franchise concepts, they're either bringing an industry that hasn't really franchised yet, or they're just making something better. So we'll use the example of like roofing, right? There is really no national franchise out there in terms of roofing. Now there's a franchise company that is moving very quickly. They will be kind of the national franchise. So we're seeing industries where there isn't traditionally franchising, where now there are franchise concepts popping up.
Yeah, I think especially on the service side of things, we're seeing a lot of franchises. There's just so much benefit to being able to step in and buy a franchise, and then day one, you're up and running. You don't really have to figure out the website or all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you really see, I believe, franchising taking over kind of the mom and pop businesses, right? Because it's like bringing a gun to a knife fight, right? They have all the systems, all the process procedures, the support behind them. It's just an easier way, and they can leverage all the investment into technology that the franchise system's doing. So I think it's an unfair advantage for franchises when they compete against the mom and pops.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody that was like, "Oh man, it seems kind of expensive," But I've started franchises, and I've also started like my own businesses from scratch. And franchises can seem a little bit expensive, but when you think about that, the time value concept, like you can get to market so much faster with a franchise because you literally, you go through the process, buy the franchise, go to training, come back, and then you're up and running. When you start from scratch, you could be 9 to 12 months just kind of figuring out like logos and all that kind of stuff. So yes, it's expensive, but you get up and running and cash flowing a lot faster, hopefully.
Yeah. And I think another thing that we see with 2022 is that it continues to be economically friendly environment, right? So it just, there is the stock market's still going pretty good, a little dip here lately, but still values are still very up there. Home values are going through the roof. So people have equity in their house. There's plenty of money that you can loan right now. So it is a great time for the industry with all those financial or economic indicators behind it.
Yeah. You can definitely use someone else's money to start your business if that's what you want to do.
Yeah. So I thought what we do is we look at investing in a franchise or what's hot in franchising in 2022. I want to talk about some of the characteristics that are kind of popping up. And one of the characteristics that I think of is I'm hearing more and more franchise companies talk about our franchise concept is pandemic or recession resistant. And they use their performance of how they did during the last 18 months. Are you seeing that?
Yeah, for sure. And I think that that's kind of a good bellwether. It's, how these companies did. I noticed a lot of mom and pops are actually, that were competitors have kind of shut their doors. And the franchises kind of, I think because they had more leadership and also just the owner group, they were able to figure a lot of things out during the COVID. And then also, ironically, I think some new business practices, which are probably ultimately making the franchises more profitable, maybe just using technology a little bit more, to do in-home visits and things like that might be here to stay.
Yeah, well, I think a little bit about like Exponential, how quickly when the pandemic came, they had an in-house studio where they could literally do virtual classes for all their franchisees, for their members, right? Or we think about like blind companies that they went out and created the technology where they could do virtual estimates. So I think you're right. I mean, they figured out how to help their franchisees through and still provide a great service to the customers. Another thing that I see trending as we look at franchising or investing in a franchise in 2022 is we're seeing more franchise companies creating what we call in-house recruiting to help the franchisees find their key employees, the skilled employees.
Yeah. Yeah, my background is in senior care, so we're definitely seeing that a lot in senior care. You just have to really be on your game to attract and get applicants through the funnel. I have a friend that owns a McDonald's. And they were telling me like how aggressive that they have had to get recruiting employees. And so yeah, I think that's great if little support or help from the parent company really goes a long way.
Yeah, it's amazing because they can help identify them. They can even tell you this is the one we think you should hire. Ultimately, the franchisee has to decide. But I think that's a real competitive advantage in today's world with this tight labor market. Is that you got somebody on your side helping you find those good people that are qualified. And certainly, all franchises have a recruiting process, but they're taking it a step further where they're actually hiring people to come in there and help you find the right skilled people. You know, and I think another characteristic we're seeing in 2022, continuing on, is this idea of product and supply chain support or infrastructure support, right? So as we have these commodity issues, how are franchisors kind of stepping up and helping their franchisees with this?
I've seen some pretty interesting outside the box solutions that I think when you're an entrepreneur, you're a problem solver is probably your number one, trait. And so I've seen some companies, they're like vertically integrating. So they're actually buying like the manufacturing company that makes, the XYZ widget, like Christmas lights as an example, they could buy the company that makes Christmas tree lights and then just try to own the vertical or the supply chain themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Or you look at, remember we interviewed Scott Marr with Koala, right? And, he was having trouble with getting aluminum for the modifier that did the trailers. And he went out and bought the aluminum and had it delivered. And I think he's since now taken over the modification of the trailers so that they could ensure that their franchisees had that equipment. I was thinking of another franchise concept, and it was I think it was a roofing franchise concept where you needed pickups, right? They went out and secured 150 pickups in advance of having the franchisees, right? That's significant in today's world where it's hard to get a pickup, a brand new pickup. So I think we're seeing more and more of that. And we'll even take it to like an eyelash franchise where they put the semi-permanent eyelashes on. Getting the glue, something as simple as getting the glue, there could be a shortage of glue. So there's some real benefits, these franchise companies, into having the product or supply chain support for their franchisees. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's when you're super happy to be part of a bigger buying group,
Right. Well, and they got enough capital to be able to lock it down and get it so that you have first shot at it. So it's nice having that strength behind you. What about this idea, as I see a trend as people look to invest in a franchise in 2022, a lot of these franchisors are basically creating their own in-house digital marketing companies, or they're buying digital marketing companies so they can control the digital marketing for the franchisees or give their franchisees a better product when it comes to digital marketing performance.
Yeah, that's definitely something that's hot this year in franchising, coming up in 2022. I think when you have a new franchise owner, you don't want them like sitting in front of their computer trying to figure out, Facebook ads or Google ads or LinkedIn ads. So a lot of the franchise, the parent companies are kind of taking that in-house and running with that. And then that helps you get up and running faster and helps you dominate the market a lot faster. It actually, what you said about the unfair advantage, like if you're on the side of the unfair advantage, you really like it. I could see that, unfortunately, probably some of the mom and pops kind of don't like that, but it's almost like an unfair advantage, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it is. And I think they can actually deliver maybe a higher quality product, and they're not trying to make a profit from it. Right. So if I have my in-house, right. Yeah. Right. So I think you get better performance at maybe a more reasonable price to do your digital marketing, and certainly the strength or leveraging of multiples. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about this idea of characteristics 2022. We're seeing also that they're leveraging technology, and we touched on this earlier, but they're taking technology and they're improving the business or the process. And on this one, I think a little bit about when we interviewed Chris from Body 20, the president of Chris. And in Body 20, they're an example of how they've taken technology, the personal training industry, and they've changed it, right? They've changed it. They've hacked working out. They utilize technology to contract people's muscles that makes it faster, more efficient in terms of working out. those are some cool things that we're seeing how franchises are taking technology and making things better.
Yeah, you've actually done that workout, right? With the Body 20.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me. You kicked my butt. Yes. So absolutely. But they hack something I hate. I hate working out, as you could tell. I know I don't look like a bodybuilder, but anyways, the idea is that I can do it in 20 minutes as opposed to 3 hours. I'm all about saving time, so that's pretty cool. What about and I think about roofing. Something is roofing. Roofing has been around forever, right? So you have a franchise now that they do, instead of taking somebody and having a ladder and a tape measure and measuring the roof square footage, they are literally using drone technology to go up there and fly over it, basically measure the square footage of the roof and also record any damage. That's super awesome.
I was even thinking about that for gutters or things like that. Like you could do the Google Maps and then you can measure, so you would be able to give an estimate basically without having to go out. The technology really has, it's so good. It's amazing.
Well, I mean, think about this. They use satellite imaging. They can measure the square footage of your house through satellite imaging. They can measure the square footage of your yard. So if I'm looking to have somebody come fertilize my lawn or do lawn care, they can literally do that from a satellite image. That is really cool, and it's really scary. I mean, it's totally. From a standpoint. What about and I think about painting. Something as simple as painting. Painting's been around forever. Now you have a painting company that has an app where they can walk into my office, they can take a picture, and that app can calculate the labor and materials associated with painting my office. Right?
Yeah.
Right. So it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I love that. And then even some of these franchises have in-house financing and things like that. So it's really they're making it super convenient and easy for people.
Yeah, right. So and they have it where it's faster and it's more professional from that standpoint. And then I think about when we had Squeeze on. Right? Squeeze, massage industry, kind of new to the space, but they've taken it and they use technology where now they have kind of the Uber app for massages where I can go in, I can schedule an app, schedule a massage. I can tell my preferences. I want this music playing. I want this type of massage, all that kind of stuff. And I can walk to the door and I don't have to say hi to anybody. I walk into my room and I get my great massage. That's my kind of deal.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed with their technology stack. I have to admit, it's just things keep on going to the next level.
Yeah, it's very cool.
I still remember, speaking of technology, and a funny Nat and Pete story. You remember when we were in San Francisco and we were doing some franchising stuff, and we walked into the office building, and we were like, holy cow, the elevator doesn't have any buttons. And it turned out when you walk past the, I don't know how exactly, somehow the elevator knew what floor you're going to, but it's that kind of blew my mind, to be honest.
Yeah, that's, it's scary where it's going. Let's talk a little bit now about, as we look at franchising for 2022, where do we see some growth areas where we're going to see continued growth in terms of activity? So one of the areas that I think we're going to continue to see a lot of growth in 2022 with franchising is this idea of kind of the service-based businesses from that standpoint. So do you kind of see that, kind of that, going to people's homes and providing a product or service?
I do. I also feel people are trying to make their homes more a man. You remember that we talked to, I think it was Hello Garage, about the turning your garage into a man cave.
Yep.
It's people are really making their home kind of taking it to the next level because over the last 18 months, a lot of us spent 24/7 at our house, and so home improvement, kind of customizing it so it's exactly the way you want. I see a lot of that coming down the pipe.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a little bit about when we remember that company that we interviewed where they do the garbage valet, where I have an apartment building, right? And they come pick up my garbage and haul it away so I don't have to walk across the complex to throw it away. I mean, those are the kind of cool things. We've talked about in the past, demand for anything in your house. Like if I want to get sprinkler systems, there's just so much demand out there where people want to upgrade their houses. And then you look at that and you go, holy cow, that I think continues to go. People are going to keep investing money in their houses.
Totally.
Yeah.
So close to your heart is investing in keeping your cars clean.
Yeah, right. No H2O. We spent some time talking to them. I mean, that's really cool where they have taken it where you don't need water to wash a car. That's
I know that's kind of blew my mind too. I guess my mind's easily blown these days.
Well, it's amazing with these clever ideas. So what about as we talk about, and we had Brittany on from Squeeze, and we talked about the idea of that we're going to continue to see people investing in just kind of that massage, that stretching, all that kind of stuff. The idea is that people are just wanting to take care of their bodies.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I turned that bench or mile marker 50 years old this year, and you always hear like, oh, that you get a little older, you feel more aches and pains, and your eyes start to go, and all this stuff. And I mean, I would spend a lot of money to feel better, whether that's kind of like that stretch, doing stretching through Stretch Labs, or getting a massage once in a while, or going, to Yoga 6 to get, to do yoga, things like that. So I think people are definitely investing in themselves. And I think that makes a lot of sense. I mean, if you're going to invest in something, you might as well invest in yourself. You and I, are both big learners, so we like to read books and go to seminars and things like that. So, just investing in yourself, investing in your health and wellness is big. That's hot for 2022.
Yeah, well, absolutely. It's hot for 2022. And I think, you can't control that we got a pandemic and a new variant or anything else like that. You can't control those things. You can't control inflation, but you can't control how you feel about yourself, right? If I'm feeling better because I got that stretch or I got that massage, I keep telling my wife, we need something like that. And as we talk about franchising, I think you take that even further, like these Medi spas or these places where I can go get an infrared, I go do an infrared sauna. Or I was just reading the other day, they have franchises where I can work out in an infrared sauna.
Hey, there you go. That'd be good in Chicago in the winter, right?
Yeah.
Warm.
Well, nice and warm, but the infrared sauna penetrates your muscles. It's a great way. It removes toxins, all kind of stuff. So now you combine sitting in there, but now you get to do workout, and it's a group workout. I keep trying to talk my wife into a infrared sauna, but you're seeing more and more of that kind of that Medi spa where I'm going to go get vitamins or things like that. Just all these different things that you can hack your body to do a little that cryotherapy. Have you tried that?
Mm-hmm. I have not. Have you?
I haven't tried it.
No.
My luck, I'd be the guy that got frostbite, right? So
yeah.
I think he's frozen to death.
As you're mentioning all these things too, it's just making me like one other like kind of trend for 2022. I think is for franchises or for franchise owners is recurring revenue. A lot of these companies we've kind of just been talking about, their membership base, so pretty modest membership, and then you can go once a week or whatever the frequency that you want to go. So recurring revenue, which again is kind of using technology in the app to schedule yourself and go and enjoy the services. So I think that would be big too.
Yeah, and you even think about just like haircutting, and I know nothing about haircutting because I'm bald, but I mean, you think about these places where men can get a haircut, but they also can get other services done. Like I get nails done, I can get my hair done, I can all that kind of stuff. I think of like a hammer nails, right? So yeah, right, where you're taking and putting multiple services in there. What about this idea again of we're trying to make ourselves better? Healthy eating and kind of this weight loss. I see that trending more in 2022.
That definitely seems like a no-brainer too, because when you think about whether it's the flu or whether it's a coronavirus, like a healthy immune system is going to be what kind of saves you. And also like I think a leading health risk is being overweight or obese. So like I remember like Pharrell's Extreme Body Shaping, for example, right? They help people, with their nutrition, they help them with the working out. So that would help people, lose weight, get their body mass index where it should be, and hopefully, boost their immune system too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you can do those kind of things and just clean eating, all that stuff kind of ties together. So I think, and that's always been a huge industry, weight loss and health and stuff like that. So I think that continues to go in 2022.
Yeah.
What else? We see a lot around beauty in 2020, again, continuing, whether it's eyelash extensions or, nails and stuff. I mean, those are all things, again, as we talked about, feeling good about yourself. Those are great businesses that continue to go.
Yeah. And again, I think the non-sexy service businesses, which literally could be doing gutters or roofing or things like that, like people want to take care of their homes. Their homes are appreciating quickly and are worth more. Senior care, of course, is, there's almost unlimited demand for senior care with the number of people turning, 70 or whatever every day.
Well, the numbers are with senior care, right? As we look at 2022, more and more of the baby boomers are turning 65. So
the silver tsunami, I think they call it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see a huge trend in that. Well, Nat, I think 2022 is going to be very exciting with franchising. I can't wait to see how everything goes.
Excellent. Well, good luck with everything today. We'll talk to you later.
I'm going to go cook up a little bit of steak.
Thanks for listening to the Hire Yourself podcast. For more resources, check out our website at hireyourself.com. And remember to subscribe to this podcast to receive each episode. Please leave us a rating, and we'd love to hear your feedback or suggestions for topics.